They call him the Godfather of the streets. Not a fixer, not a gang boss. Something bigger. The kind of power that doesn't need to be loud, that doesn't need to show its teeth, to remind you they exist. You don't ask him for a job. You don't hire him. You bring him a problem. And if he listens, if he helps, congratulations. You just became part of something larger than yourself. A family, a network, a chain that binds tighter than blood. And one day, maybe tomorrow, maybe years from now, he'll come to you with something simple, a request, a favor, an offer, and you won't refuse. The bar is crowded, packed with people who burn bright and die nameless. Fixers, gangoons, corpo rats slumming it for the thrill. The walls stink of old smoke, spilled liquor, sweat. Someone gets shot here every week. But when the door opens, when the Godfather walks in, everything stops. Not silence, not completely, but enough. Enough for the smart ones to understand. A black coat sweeps across stained floors. Gloves slide from his fingers. His optics scan the room, micro-expressions, nervous glances, tension in shoulders. He doesn't rush. He's already won. In the back, a fixer pretends not to see him. Fingers drum against the table. A tell. He knows what's coming. A favor was given. A debt was formed. And now, it's time to collect. The Godfather doesn't sit. He waits. The silence presses down. His neural processor hums. Predictive models running, calculating the exact moment the fixer will break. He could say something. Make it easier. But where's the lesson in that? I was gonna call, the fixer mutters. The Godfather slides into the seat. Slow, deliberate. No smile, no nod, just silence. His Kiroshi optics flicker. Heat signatures, pulse rate, lies are easy to spot. I know. No shouting, no threats, just an understanding. The fixer exhales, shakes his head, reaches into his jacket, not for a gun, he's not that stupid, but for a pen, a contract, a deal. He signs without reading, because he knows. He already signed the day he asked for a favor. The Godfather stands, slides his gloves back on. Beneath the leather, reinforced knuckles hum. The conversation is over. By the time he reaches the door, the room breathes again. But it's different now. No one laughs as hard, no one drinks as deep, because for just a moment, they remembered a rule they tried to forget. In Night City, nothing is free. And sooner or later, every debt gets collected. The Godfather wasn't born into power. He earned it the hard way. No family name, no syndicate backing, just a street kid in Watson who learned early that loyalty could be bought, but respect had to be taken. His first crew ran scores for the Tiger Claws, low-level stuff, boosted cars, extorted street docks, protection rackets that barely paid. They weren't built for legacy. They were built to die fast and forgettable. And they did. One job went bad, real bad. A client double-crossed them, and the crew turned on each other before the bullets even stopped flying. When the smoke cleared, he was the only one left breathing. And that's when he made a decision. Never again would he serve another man's empire. He didn't want power to show off. He wanted power so no one could take anything from him ever again, not his crew, not his name, not his future. So he disappeared. 6 months, off-grid, no gigs, no sightings, no calls. People assumed he was dead. But he wasn't hiding, he was building. Chrome by chrome, favor by favor, name by name. A fixer in Haywood lost his top netrunner to a voodoo boy ambush. The next week, his data came home. No message, no charge. Just delivered. A corpo's daughter vanished in North Oak. The ransom came, but no one paid it. She was found safe the next morning, and the kidnappers were never heard from again. No fee, just a favor. He didn't take money, didn't need the eddies. What he collected was debt, and debt in Night City is a far stronger currency. By the time the city noticed he was back, it was already too late. He wasn't a merc anymore. He was an institution. People came to him in whispers. Not for jobs, for salvation, for protection, for judgment. And when he listened, when he helped, it wasn't out of kindness, it was collateral. Every favor he granted was a thread pulled tight. Every solution came with silence and a debt. He never raised his voice, never chased what was owed. He just waited. Because real power doesn't force its way in, it's invited. And when he finally comes to collect, you don't argue, you just lower your head and say, yes, Don. In Night City, identity comes prepackaged in fabric and chrome. The Valentinos wear their hearts on stitched sleeves. The Maelstrom, leather, metal, madness. Corpos dress in armor disguised as tailoring, all bark, all brand. And the Mercs? They clank when they walk, all steel and swagger, hoping the chrome will say what their eyes can't. But then there's him. He doesn't announce himself. He arrives. A black suit, pressed to perfection. No insignia, no ornament, just quiet lines and deadly intent. A long coat drapes from his shoulders, heavy with presence. The cut is timeless. The material. Reinforced, yes, but subtly. Not to stop a bullet, just to make sure the shooter understands how much it'll cost to try. The gloves are fitted charcoal leather, not for style, for control. Every motion smooth, decisive. And the glasses, they never leave his face. Not under neon, not under moonlight. 100 rumors explain why. Arrogance, sensitivity to light, maybe vanity. The truth? They're shielding optics that can see lies before they leave your lips. The car pulls up in front of the club, one of those places with no name on the door, the kind of place where conversations cost more than contracts. He steps out, no fanfare, no entourage. The doormen don't ask questions, they just open the door. Inside, the shift is immediate, voices lower, movements still. A dozen conversations pause in mid-sentence. Not fear, not quite. Recognition. The ones who know him don't speak, they nod. The ones who don't, they follow the silence. Everyone in this city wears something that tells a story. For some, it's stitched colors and bloodstains. For others, it's a corpo pin and a bulletproof smile. But him? He wears the absence of noise, a tailored silence. In a city that screams to be seen, real power doesn't make a sound. It just walks in and waits to be acknowledged. Some think power is about muscle, being the biggest man in the room. Others think it's about speed, pulling the trigger first, dodging bullets, moving faster than the rest. They're all wrong. Power is knowing the fight is over before it even begins. The rooftop meeting was supposed to be neutral ground, private, just business, a fixer, a corpo, a few hired guns. But the Godfather knew how it would play out long before the elevator doors opened. His optics had already scanned the rooftop. His neuralware mapped every heartbeat, every twitch of a nervous hand. No surprises, just inevitability. Beneath the table, the fixer's fingers drifted toward his holster. A tell. The Godfather didn't move, just exhaled, slow, calm, certain. You really think this is going to go your way? The fixer flinched, barely, but enough. His optics tracked the signs: pupil dilation, shallow breath, the spike in pulse. The man was already making the wrong decision. The Godfather didn't let him finish it. A blink. Time fractured. Sandevistan surged. The world crawled. His hand wrapped around Crash. A black revolver. Matte finish. No flare. All finality. The cylinder spun once. A single shot. Clean. Direct. Right between the eyes. The fixer's head hit the table. His body followed. Silence. Then motion. One of the guards reached for his weapon. Mistake. The Godfather didn't blink. Seraph cleared the holster. One shot, one collapse. The third froze. The Don didn't speak. Didn't need to. He simply turned, eyes locked, pistol steady. No threat, just promise. The guard lowered his hand, took a step back. Smart. A flicker across the skyline. A sniper. Corpo Overwatch. The Godfather drew hypercritical. One breath, one shot, one fall. Crash. Seraph. Hypercritical. Each fired once. Each did its job. He holstered the weapons, straightened his cuff. The second guard twitched on the floor. The Don glanced down. "This wasn't personal," he said. "Just business." Then turned and left the rooftop in silence. Because a Don doesn't fight to prove himself. He fights to end the conversation. And if you're still wondering whether the fight's over, you were never in control to begin with. Some men survive Night City on strength, others on speed. Some trust Chrome, some rely on presence. The Godfather, he mastered all four. A circle of mercs chant around a cage. At the center, him. No armor, no backup, no hesitation. The opponent roars, chromed arms swinging wild. He takes the hit, doesn't even step back. The next punch never lands. He surges forward, each step heavier, faster, meaner. Momentum builds like a freight train. When his fist lands, it's not just a hit, it's a verdict. Adrenaline rush, someone mutters. No, juggernaut. The crowd goes silent. The challenger doesn't rise. And the Don, he doesn't even look back. A blacked-out SUV screeches to a halt. Doors open. Suits pile out, armed and fast. They blink. He's already gone. A dash slices the air. He reappears behind cover. A slide, a flicker, another angle. They fire blindly into shadows. He launches off a wall, air dash carrying him above their sights. One round drops a suit, then another. Each shot a whisper, each move untouchable. Is he ghosting? No, he's just faster than fear. The last man runs. The Don doesn't chase. Tailwind carries him forward anyway. Lasers grid the room. Ice flickers through the air like ghosts. He steps in alone, calm. Turrets whir. Firewalls flare. Too late. His Chrome works before he does. License to Chrome feeds power where it's needed. Arms, nerves, bone. Renaissance Punk pushes capacity past corpo limits. Chrome Constitution absorbs the hits before they even come. A drone targets. He doesn't flinch. He just walks through. A netrunner tries to lock him out. Driver update reroutes the hack. Cyborg drops his cooldowns like bodies. Nothing gets in his way, not walls, not tech, not time. He vanishes into the vault like a ghost dressed in protocol. No breach, no sound, just results. The boss sits behind rusted chrome, gun on the table. "You think this is your turf?" he growls. The Godfather doesn't answer, just places Crash down beside him. Focus kicks in. The room narrows, no shake, no drag, no hesitation. The boss twitches, too slow. Deadeye flares, a shot to the head, clean, final. Silence. Someone whispers, "He didn't even aim." Another, "He didn't have to." High noon resets the reload. Nerves of tungsten steel make sure the next shot hits harder. Long shot carries the bullet. Distance means nothing now. He holsters Crash, stands, leaves the club in silence. Because in his world, words are optional. Bullets are binding. The city hums below. Neon ripples against the glass. He sits alone, silent, steady. He checks the Chrome. The system runs hot under the surface. Diagnostics scroll behind his eyes. One by one, everything reads, ready. The smoke curls from the barrel of Crash. The Don steps over a fresh corpse, boots echoing on marble. Another squad scrambles up the stairs. Axolotl hums. Cooldowns vanish. Kerenzikov boost system tightens its grip. Time fractures. He slides between cover, stamina untouched, nerves calm. Drones and bots enter the fray. Mechatronic Core overloads them with each pull of the trigger. They die like everything else, cheaply. Chrome Compressor? The Doc's hand shakes. The Don only nods. Most mercs fry themselves on installation. He doesn't flinch. More Chrome, more slots, More power, no weakness, just capacity. The gunfire rains down. The Don doesn't duck. Epimorphic Skeleton anchors him, Kinetic Frame absorbing each impact. Each step forward is a message. Rara Avis, steel beneath silk, drinks up the shots. The shooters, already second-guessing. Maelstrom Sharpshooter holds his breath. One clean shot, until the billboard ricochets around straight into his skull. Deep field visual interface marked the angle. Kerenzikov ignites. Time bends. The Don is already gone. Neofiber keeps the damage at bay, but truthfully, they were never going to hit him. Clip empty. He reloads. Microgenerator activates. The next shot arcs lightning across the room, bodies convulsing mid-air. Ballistic coprocessor plots the next ricochet before he even finishes stepping forward. The Don drops, flatlined. The crew smirks. Too early. Second heart pulses. He rises, steady. Blood pump keeps him standing tall. Isometric stabilizer makes sure he barely feels the next volley. The bullets slow. Carapace redirects them. Kerenzikov spikes mitigation. Range guard locks his stance. Even surrounded, even bleeding, the Don doesn't fall back. He closes in. The system check ends. All clear. He finishes the drink and stands. Chrome doesn't make a Don. It just ensures no one questions him. Mist coils around marble headstones. The Godfather stands alone, suit immaculate, chrome gleaming beneath the soft glow of the rising sun. No entourage, no words, just presence. He surveys the city from the hilltop, the sprawling chaos, the neon inferno below. They fight for scraps, they die for eddies. But him? He owns the silence between gunshots. He writes the rules without ever speaking them aloud. A small-time fixer approaches, trembling. Old debt, old favor. The Godfather doesn't speak, doesn't need to. The fixer knows why he's here. Hands him a folded note. The Don takes it, pockets it without reading. The fixer's fate was sealed the moment he asked for help, years ago. You're not gonna... The Godfather's hand rises, a single gesture. The fixer goes silent. There's no need to finish the question. In Night City, no one refuses the Don. He turns back toward the skyline. The storm will come. Corpos, gangs, mercs, all thinking they can take the city, take him. But they've forgotten the truth. They don't run Night City. He does. The Godfather of Night City. And someday, when you hear the knock on your door, when the favor is called in and when the offer is made, you won't refuse.